We are going to start the discussion of today UPSC's Prelims 2025, part of entire science and technology questions with the solution. Now, before we start, I just want to recall you in the regular lectures of science and technology, the way I specified very clearly that these are the areas of prelims, these are the areas of expected question from mains. In the same way, as you will go through with the question, you will find that the questions of prelims this year, the questions that are asked, first talking about its difficulty level, around 80 to 90% questions are very conceptual based, and at the same time it involves in-depth knowledge also relating to a particular thing, so that the way if you'll have the concept clarity, if you'll have the understanding, better understanding, then only you can think on the same and go with the correct answer. In the same way that I have discussed in the regular lectures, that while working with the concept must be clearly understood and followed by its regular current developments. So, in the same way, the way we have discussed, and when we'll go through with the question, it will be clear to you that how almost, that is somewhere around 15 questions have been asked in the prelims of just today held prelims, and out of 15, those who attended the regular classes in the regular science and technology lectures, they will find that out of 15 questions, almost 12 to 13 questions are directly from the class notes. This is the thing that I used to point out when I take the lectures, that tick mark, this is the important area, tick mark, this is the most important area for the coming prelims. In the same way, when you will go through with your class notes, you will find that how these questions are asked. First thing. Second thing, the rest 3-4 questions, I am not specifying it like directly from the class notes, but this is also from the discussion. That is, entire questions, not a single questions is out of our discussion in the regular classes, but that 3-4 question are such question which needs a better understanding followed by some current developments. So are the questions. So according to the class lectures, if you'll go through after the discussion, you'll find that the approach that is discussed in the regular class, how is useful in the questions. Now, starting with the question, I'm going to discuss the question from set B, and in the set B, even the first question is from science and technology, and as I have said just now, approximately 15 to 16 questions have come in this year from science and technology section. Now, coming to the first question, see, before moving to this question, one thing again I want to recall you, that the way we discuss in the regular lectures, and as I have divided the topic in the standard 9 topics in science and technology, and when I used to take a topic, I used to divide the topic in subtopics, and in the subtopic even I make it very clear that this is the prelims area. In the same way, talking about the entire 9 topics, almost all topic except one, that is nanotechnology, almost all 8 topics are touched. First thing. Second thing, the way I used to say that the in just before the prelims, the concluded lectures of science and technology, I have even referred that ongoing developments led, there are few topics that I have marked to the most important, like the information communication technology, defense technology, biotechnology. So these 3 are the topics from where out of 15, around 7-8 questions are asked. Rest almost 1 or 2 questions are asked from the rest all the topics. Now, So first I'm starting with a question, and in the question first I'll be specifying you the topic, first thing, second the subtopic, and how we have discussed in the regular lectures before coming to its solution, so that you can better correlate this discussion with your class notes and class lecture discussion. Now the first question is from the alternative sources of energy. You can recall when in the topic energy I have divided it into two: nuclear technology and alternative sources of energy. And in the alternative sources of energy when I used to start the topic, I start the topic with conventional energy sources in a great detail, then how the research and technological development led to non-conventional energy sources, and how after the non-conventional energy sources how the development started specifically for alternative sources of energy. And now consolidating all these developments, now we are moving toward the futuristic hydrogen technology based concept. Now in the same way, in this transition of non-conventional energy to hydrogen, now we have seen so many developments related to the electric vehicles. Now in case of electric vehicles, we have discussed that how variety of concepts related to battery, electric vehicles, EV batteries and all have developed, and almost all are in the developmental stage of its research also. For example, if we'll talk about hydrogen fuel cell vehicle, we have discussed in hydrogen technologies that how on a vast scale globally hydrogen technologies research is going on, and hydrogen technologies research how with a great vision of hydrogen economy in the future, how in the energy sector the countries are working for switching to 100% alternative sources of energy. In this context, we have discussed in alternative sources of energy regarding the same. And the same thing, just this question is something like just a little bit thinking of your understanding of the topic alternative sources of energy. That see, consider the following type of vehicles. Full battery electric vehicle. The word full is a little bit given to make you confuse. It is something like EV vehicles, electric vehicles, battery vehicles. Now, hydrogen fuel cell vehicle, HFCV. Now recall, we have discussed in hydrogen technologies that how the work is going on at a vast scale in the scientific research for the development of hydrogen engines, hydrogen fuel cell. The same thing is discussed here. Third, fuel cell electric hybrid vehicles is very simple, is the hybrid of the fuel cell with batteries and all. Now see, how many of the above are considered as alternative powertrain vehicles? Now understand the thing. Alternative powertrain vehicles, very simple from the word alternative. Now see, as we are working towards alternative sources of energy, and battery is one of the important source, and hydrogen technologies is our vision in case of the alternative sources of energy, so are the battery sources, and so is the hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. So how many of the above are considered as alternative vehicles? Going by this term only, all the three. So you can understand, as I have said, there are few questions that are a little bit easy also, but almost out of 15 question, there are 10 to 12 question that needs a better understanding of the topic. But this 2-3 question, as I have said, are a little bit simple, but even in such simple question, you need to have a clear understanding of the topic. Because you can understand one thing, talking in a very simple, you can't recall so many things, but if you have a better understanding, you can think in the 2 hour regarding the concept. So that's what, when I used to take alternative sources of energy in a comprehensive lecture, I used to discuss entire thing to make it very clear to you the word alternative. And that is why also I have named The subtopic is alternative sources of energy. So the point is clear to you. In the first question of set B, now it is the all the three options are correct. Now moving to the next question. See, first, this is a question from topic defense technology. Now recall in defense technology how I used to discuss in the regular lectures, like first we used to discuss missile technology, then IGMDP, then warfare technologies related to land, air and water, then defense system of India. In the air, we used to discuss about UAV. Now I am just referring to the regular lectures of this part of UAV. You can recall that we have discussed in a great detail about UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, also called as remotely piloted aircraft systems, are of two types, macro and micro. Very simple. A little bit in placed at the higher altitudes, and a relatively larger one are the macro one, just opposite. A little bit smaller one and placed at the lower altitudes are the micro. UAVs are designed for variety of applications, both in civilian as well as in defense application, that we have discussed at a great length in the regular classes. And even you can recall, I have given you as the tick mark in the most important area to the class notes. Now going through this, now first understand one thing before coming to its solution. I want to make you very clear regarding the approach of UAV questions regarding prelims that we have discussed in the regular classes. You can recall I have said that in the UAV, as we have discussed in a great length, that what is UAV, what are its applications, technologies behind this and all. But I have very clearly specified 2 points. The point number 1 is I have specified that some basic concepts followed by some applications or related technologies are the prelims multiples that can be asked. Second, I have said that as we have discussed in the regular lectures, that there are so many UAVs that was in the news. A new type of UAVs also was in the news. So in such cases, the UAV that was in news, a specific one also can be asked, that I referred in the regular class. So very clear, I have made it clear to you that two types of question are mainly expected from UAV. This question belongs to the first type that I referred in the regular classes. Now, so going through the option, see, in this first I am reading the multiple to make you clear that how your concept is tested here and how they have tried to make you confused. See, UAV applications are, UAV can do vertical landing, UAV can do automated hovering. This is something like stabilizing in the air. Can use battery as the only as a source of power supply. Now understand one thing. Even when I used to discuss the questions in regular classes, I used to refer that the word all, the word only must be dealt carefully. See, the questions having the applications of UAV that even I have referred in the regular classes, you can recall. In the applications are correct. But what makes this question challenging is the all and only. See, it is up to the design, it is up to the application that UAVs can have vertical landing, can have automated hovering, can have the power supply as the battery one. Now, coming to the first, the multiple third, battery is not the only source of power supply. The UAVs are the vehicles that is having much more applications in the even civilian and defense sector. So UAV can have variety of power sources. So the word only make this statement incorrect. Now, next is, see, all types of UAV can do vertical landing. See, the word all make it wrong. Why? Because it is up to the design, the way I have said, and it is based on its application that how it can be utilized. Now, all types of UAV can do automated same thing. The word all makes this question, this statement confusing or say wrong also. So how many of the statements given above are correct? See, it can, the answer is none. Why? Because the word all makes it incorrect. Otherwise, recall I have said in the regular classes that only two type of expected question from UAV. The first one is application related or technologies related, and second one is a specific type of UAV that happens to be in the news that can be asked. This question belongs to the first type, but see how to make you confuse. That's why I used to always refer in the regular lectures that the better understanding can help you, can develop your skills to contemplate on the concepts, because prelims is designed to make the decision on the basis of concepts, something like a aptitude based on a question. So now this is clear. Now moving to the next question. Now again, this question is from EV batteries, same alternative sources of energy, but this question nature is a little bit different. Why? See, this question needs a little bit in-depth concept regarding batteries. But such concept that we used to discuss not only in the alternative sources of energy. So first I am coming about the topic and subtopics to which this is related. You can recall when I used to discuss the topic space technology, I used to refer about satellite batteries. When I used to discuss in the topic ICT about development of electronics, I used to refer about lithium ion batteries. When I used to discuss the alternative sources of energies about EV batteries and all, I used to discuss about lithium ion batteries. So now understand one thing. Such a question needs a in-depth conceptual clarity relating to batteries and its development. See, how this question is asked. In the context of electric vehicle batteries, consider the following elements. Clear? So in the context of electric vehicle batteries. Now, first, before reading this line, first I'm just going to these four elements. See, talking about these four elements in general, before coming to this, in general, now you know that graphite and lithium are the important element used in the battery source. But now understand, coming to this statement, how many of the above usually make up battery cathodes? Now understand one thing. That's what this line makes this question a little bit challenging in terms of in-depth understanding of the topic. See, in this question, now, as you know that in general, graphite, lithium are mainly used in the battery sources, but battery cathodes are mainly the elements of preferred of the oxidizing agent. So going to the in-depth concept, there are transition elements, oxides, which involves this concept, and talking in a great detail about lithium ion batteries transition oxides, even nickel and to some extent cobalt is also used. So you can understand one thing, to one point this question is a little bit confusing also. Why? Because going through what the word usually makes it question something like that in batteries these are mainly used, but going to the in-depth concept you will find that even in the way I have said that in the transition oxides, even this also is having the part in terms of lithium ion batteries when it comes to its transition oxides. So going to this, it can be all four. So you can understand one thing, that to some questions are especially designed to check your in-depth understanding and a little bit to make you confuse. So have in mind this thing, that due to this line, this question is a little bit challenging, but not that challenging if you have a better understanding. See, this is a question often comes in newspaper and all that I used to refer, that is the only source to update science and technology. So this is a very simple question, and a question that also needs a general understanding. So this question is one of the easy one. Consider the following. How many of them contain plastic? Cigarette butts, eyeglass lenses, car tires. In all three, car tire means rubber and all. So in all three, plastics are used. So the option C is clear. So as I have said, there are out of 15, there are some 2 or 3 questions that are easy one that needs a general understanding. So this question is also one of type. Now coming to this question, again a question that belongs to alternative sources of energy. Now you can recall I have said at very start that how in the just concluded even session of prelims, I have referred and even pointed out, keeping in mind the developments going on in the technological research sector in India, I have pointed out that energy sector, ICT, defense technology, how these topics are much more important. In the same way, when you'll go through with the energy topic, there are 3-4 questions that have been asked from this topic. But nature of the question, when you'll go and when you'll analyze that how the trend is changing year on year, you will find that one thing is common in every year. That thing is, the more concept clarity is the requirement. That is the only one thing that can be said as almost common in every year of the question. That is the more and more conceptual clarity, that is understanding, that I used to refer in the regular lectures. That is why I used to refer, you can recall those who have attended the regular classes, that how there is no alternative of class lectures, that is understanding, because it is the only thing that can make you clear and you can have a better understanding of the things. See, going through this question, we have discussed about coal gasification technology in alternative sources of energy. But now understand one thing. How many things have been asked in this question, that too in a confusing way? See, consider the following substance, ethanol. We have discussed that how from conventional energy to non-conventional to alternative sources of energy, and how from the conventional hydrocarbon economy to the modern ethanol economy, the world energy sector is moving. Few countries, developed countries, have achieved also. Developing countries like India is going towards the same, fixing its target of around 20% ethanol blending by 2025, by this year even. That is the thing in energy sector, is a shift from conventional hydrocarbon economy to modern ethanol economy based on biofuels. And the vision is to move towards hydrogen technologies based hydrogen economy. Now, so first in this question, the production process is asked. Now, you know that what is the production process involved in the production of ethanol. You can recall we have discussed ethanol at a great length in our topic alternative sources of energy. First thing, in the discussion of biofuel, we have discussed that how fermentation is a process of this development of production of biofuel, and transesterification is also one of the process of development and production of biofuel. So its production process is that nitroglycerin is a drug, urea is produced, as you know, is a conventional way. So coal gasification technology, you know, we have discussed that in this case coal is used and synthetic gases, syngases, are mainly produced. So see, first in this question it has been checked that whether you know such production processes or not, and whether you know this or not. Clear? So coal gasification technology can be used in the production of how many of them? You can understand. It is not used in the production of any, because coal gasification technology is used in the production of synthetic gases. Clear? So again a little bit conceptual. Now this is a question belongs to defense technology, and in this question what the thing I want to refer you first, I am moving to the again to the class lectures to make you very clear about this question, that when I used to discuss the topic defense technology, you can recall I always refer that defense technology or even entire science and technology, but as this question belongs to defense technology, so I'm a little bit specific here, that whatever we are discussing in the class lectures, you need to update following the discussion. That is, I have clearly defined the areas, clearly defined the limit, that to what extent you need to go through in the updation. So going through the same, I have referred that class lectures followed by class notes that I used to dictate, and directly only the newspaper reading will help you to understand regarding the updation. Now in the recent news there were few chemicals, as in the defense technological development, in the international context even, there were many such articles, there were many such news relating to defense technology. In that, such chemicals, CL20, HMX, LLM 105, these were the chemicals that was much more in news. Such chemicals are mainly used to develop the explosives, and even such chemicals like HMX is something very similar to RDX. So such chemicals were in the news. Clear? And see the question, what is the common characteristic of the chemical substances generally known as this one, which are sometimes talked about in media, was in the recent news. So first recall the class again, what I used to say, that something that is related to developments relating to the technology, relating to the topic, needs to be updated. But while updating, no need to go through in the detail of the factual things. Only the thing important for you is the concept, and in the concept, the context, that in what context this was in the news. So very simple. And see first how they have made it confuse. So these are the very simple one word explosives in military weapons. So these are the words to make you confuse, but these are mainly the chemicals used in explosives. So very simple. This is also a simple question, but simple to whom? Who have followed this thing in the regular updation. That's why I used to say that if you'll update by yourself, where I stopped. That is, if say you have attended the lectures 2-3 months before, after which if you have to update following the class notes, and class note will guide you that what not to read. So while going through such in the news, your objective was just to know what it is, in what context it was in the news. So are the military weapons? That's it. So this is the decision you have to take in updating the notes. Now, moving to the next question. Coming to the topic ICT. First, this is a question of ICT, and in this question of ICT, they have integrated one more topic, that is AI. So this too belong to the topic ICT, and this is a multiple they have asked from AI. Clear? So now, first coming to information and communication technology. Recall the class. We have discussed in a great detail about computing. And recall how I used to take the topic computing. I used to start with development of electronics, moving to the computing, then moving to supercomputing, then quantum computing. In the quantum computing, we have discussed at a great length that what is quantum computing, how quantum computing is having the revolutionary potential in the coming technological sector in terms of many such integrated developments in science and technology. So relating to quantum computing, this question is asked. Now, and also this question is asked from a very recent development. See, many such development is going on in quantum computing that we have discussed in the regular lectures. I have said that there are few technologies like talking about hydrogen energy, talking about quantum computing, talking about nanotechnology, talking about AI. These are the futuristic technology to which very vast science and technology research and development is going in worldwide. And going in the same, in quantum computing research, now there are many such development that is challenging one. We have discussed in quantum computing that how superposition and entanglement are the two processes that involves in this case. So developing quantum chips with the concept of superposition and entanglement is the main objective of this research. And in this development, that is utilization of quantum chip in terms of in applications by quantum processors and all, the processing of qubits, in the processing of qubits, that is, as you know, 00011011, there are many such research and development going on to work on this quantum computing. So in one of this development, now there are many such subatomic particles that has been worked out, and work is in progress in this research for the development of quantum chip. Recently, there came few claim by few companies that they have developed some chip. In one of such claim, Microsoft have claimed to develop a chip called Majorana 1 chip. Now, first understand about this word. This is a subatomic particle, and using this subatomic particle, Microsoft Research have developed the qubits. And why they have named this chip by this subatomic particle? Because this is a very unique particle, subatomic particle, having its own antiparticles that well suited in its processing of qubits. So this is a chip that can enable quantum computing. Absolutely correct. That we have also discussed. This is a question that I can say directly have been asked from our discussion. Now, first is correct. Coming to the second, Majorana 1 chip has been introduced by Amazon Web Services. See, this is not simply a statement that is being asked to confuse you, but this is a statement. Why that is asked? Because this both developments are in very few days. Amazon have come out with Ocelot quantum chip. Both the developments are very near about. So why they have written this word? That many of you, when you goes through with current developments in newspaper and all, you are not paying much more attention regarding the particular thing, and even going through the information, you are not giving much more weightage or say attention again regarding that how this can be asked. And sometimes what happen that experts know these things, that those who are not paying much more attention to such development, when it will be placed that Amazon also have come out with one quantum chip, Microsoft also, they will get confused. So you can understand, such questions are designed to test your aptitude, and thus technology is one of the analytical subject that best suited for their work. So you can understand, this is not as simple is to that is asked like one can recognize that this is a chip made by Microsoft, but it is something to make you confuse regarding your current reading and development. So this statement is wrong. Now, third, deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Now, you can recall the lecture of AI, how comprehensively I used to dealt with the how AI originated 1956 discussion of John McCarthy, how this development followed by Arthur Samuel concept of machine learning, and while machine learning he was talking in a great detail in his research paper, a subset of deep learning have evolved that involves artificial neural network concept. Clear? So this is correct. So correct option are 1 and 3. Is clear? So again with this question, one thing is clear to you, that how just following the class lectures with concept clarity, and as I have said that I have made science and technology much more simpler, that if you'll just give some effort to understand, you can better score in such section which is having uh, number of question even much more. So now moving to the next one. Now is a question first from biotechnology topic. Now in this year there are few questions from biotechnology topic, 2 or 3, but that few are very conceptual one, and the same thing we have discussed in the regular class, but the way multiples are designed, it involves the more and more understanding from your side, because when I used to take the lecture I used to emphasize much more, but it is up to you that how you are working on it, then only it can be better to attempt such questions. Now first I am reading the question. With reference to monoclonal antibodies often mentioned in news, consider the following statements. They are man-made proteins. They stimulate immunological function due to their ability to bind to specific antigens. They are used in treating viral infections like that of Nipah virus. Now, given above are correct. Now understand first one thing. First, going through the basic concept, it is clear to you what is antigen, what is antibodies. This is clear to you that we used to discuss at first when I used to take biotechnology. I used to discuss in the basic biology where I used to discuss all this thing. Now, second thing, that as you know, the natural immune system of ours made antibodies. So these are the antibodies first that are made in lab. We have discussed in the topic biotechnology that how lab grown antibodies, lab grown CARTs, how gene editing, how this technological development are progressing We have discussed all this thing in a great detail in the topic biotechnology. Now, to the same understanding of yours, now you can better approach this question. The first thing is very clear that these are artificial lab grown protein. Now you can send to, these are the words that is used technically when you'll go through with this concept. Even in the class notes, you will find that it is written like lab grown protein. So concern is a little bit general understanding that lab grown, artificial, man made, all are simple, same. Second, one thing is clear to you: antibodies, immunological function, and these are the artificial antibodies to mimic the antibodies of our immune system, natural immune system. So these, they stimulate immunological function due to their ability to bind to specific antigen. Absolutely correct. This is the function of an antibody. Now, coming to this development, now see, this virus was in recent news and became very challenging in terms of its treatment. As you know, how challenging are the treatment related to virus. But scientific research have proposed that how lab grown antibodies can be better utilized to bind to the antigens of such viral proteins, and that can be killed. So all three statements are correct. Is clear? So you can understand, a little bit thinking of yours simply will help you to approach such questions. Now, moving to the next question. Same, a question from biotechnology related to bacteria and virus, but this is a question more of conceptual clarity and understanding. See, no virus can survive in ocean water. So you can understand, this is a statement, something like all, only. This statement is not such resembles even not a correct statement in general. No virus can infect bacteria. Virus can infect bacteria. No virus can change the cellular transcriptional activity in host cell. It changes. So how many of the statements given above are correct? See, virus can survive in ocean water. So no virus can infect. Virus can infect bacteria. Is clear? So only one. It's clear? Now, moving to the, so you can understand in the biotechnology question, you'll find that the question is much of your updation and question is much of your a general understanding is very much important. Now, this is a technology, emerging technology that was in the news that is asked. With reference to direct air capture, an emerging technology, which of the following statement are correct? Now, first understand in a very simple, this was a thing in recent news and is a technology, emerging one. Direct air capture is a technology where carbon dioxide is captured, and there are other ways also to capture carbon dioxide, but what the new thing in this emerging technology is that even not by in any industrial process or in any process, even in from the air, CO2 can be absorbed, and main objective is to work towards the climate change activities and all. This emerging technology is having its significance. So going through the statement, it can be used as a way of carbon sequestration. It can be a valuable approach for plastic production and in food processing. In aviation, it can be a source of carbon for combining with hydrogen to create synthetic low carbon fuel. Now, going through this, second is the incorrect option, because just now I've said is having a valuable approach for plastic production in food producing. No, second one is absolutely incorrect going by the understanding of this technology. So the option is none of the above statement. Okay, so there are few questions that I have said are simple also, but again needs a conceptual clarity and current updation. Clear? Now, coming to this question, directly have come from your class notes. And in this year, there are two questions from space technology, and both the two questions are directly from our discussion. Now, we have discussed in the topic navigation system about Gagan. Gagan is GPS aided geo augmented navigation of India. With the joint collaboration of ISRO and Airport Authority of India, this service is started for aviation and for air traffic control, air traffic management in India with the aid of GPS of United States. So, Gagan uses a system of ground stations to provide necessary augmentation. Which of the following statements are correct in respect of Gagan? See, it is designed to provide additional accuracy and integrity. It will allow more uniform and high quality air traffic management. Absolutely correct. It will provide benefits only in aviation but not in other modes of transport. See, only in aviation. Now understand what I said. And as we have discussed in the regular class, that Gagan is a system exclusively. This agreement was made between ISRO and AI, and with GPS aided the signals, ISRO indigenously developed a satellite-based augmentation system to augment the signals for aviation, for the aviation sector, for air traffic management. Is clear? So option B, 2 and 3 are correct. Is clear? Now you can understand such question can be better approached directly from the class notes. Now, AI Action Summit. Again the same thing. Directly this question is asked from the class notes. We have discussed that how the development of AI is going on, but while the development of AI is going on, a serious concern in terms of a threat from deepfake technology that have made challenging the AI sector. So in the entire AI technological sector, now global partnership on AI, GPAI conferences are being held. Some nation states are also coming forward to while working to have some legal means to put a check on such illegal technological development. So going through with all this, now there started GPAI, first held in UK, then held in New Delhi, and in almost both the declaration it was worked out that how to mitigate the risk coming from the AI evolving and emerging sector. Now, on the similar way, a action summit held recently in February 25, and in this action summit, the GPAI conferences that held in UK and New Delhi, it was this action summit followed this. Clear? So co-chaired with India, the event builds on the advances made at Bletchley Park Summit held in 2003 in UK and Seoul Summit held in 24. Clear? Now, second is, along with other countries, US and UK also signed. See, a controversy arose and they refused. Clear? So the second statement is incorrect. Clear? So correct is the only one. Is clear? So again a simple question. Now, consider the following statement. Some rare earth elements are used in the manufacture of flat television screens and computer monitor. Now, you know rare earth elements, there are in number total 17. And the word why rare is used, these are not rare, having abundance of availability. But why the word rare is used for such materials? Because not available at one place in its ore in much more quantity, so as called as rare, and having very important properties. One of its properties are phosphorescent properties, which makes it very suitable for electronics sector. Clear? So see, which one of the following statement is in respect of the above statement is correct in respect of the above statement? Both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and 2 explains 1 is correct. Is clear? Because due to this property finds in electronics. Is clear? A simple question that I used to even refer in the development of electronics. Now, coming to the next question of space technology from our space technology topic. See, space mission. First thing, we have discussed at a great length in our regular lectures. Space mission, matter of study, matter of research in our space. Now, but this is a space mission. There are 3 space missions, names are given. And in this space mission, it has been asked that how many of this above space missions encourage and support microgravity research. See, first understand about a space mission are the technical means to study, to perform the research in the space. Now, microgravity, we have discussed that is basically not the absence of gravity. It is like a perception of weightlessness that mainly happens when in a constant movement a living body happens to be in the orbit. So this finds significance in case of human space mission. For example, like say International Space Station orbiting in LEO in Earth. So in case of human space mission, microgravity is one of the important scientific research area. Clear? So as you know, Gaganyaan is India's futuristic planned human space mission to which work is going on and is expected that in this year or next year it will launch by ISRO. So in case of such human space mission, microgravity experiment is one of the important one. So recently Axiom 4 was in news. It's a joint collaboration between ISRO, NASA and ESA to work for microgravity research, and there are various experiments to be performed in this. For example, experiments related to food and nutrition, experiment related to how the survival, how the human being get affected in a space. So these are the collective experiments to be made in such joint collaboration mission. This is a planned mission expected by the next month. So this is a mission which encourages this experiment, and as the plan is, after this experiment will complete, its significance is its studies will help in Gaganyaan, but Gaganyaan is not a space mission to encourage microgravity. Microgravity concept is having significance in Gaganyaan, which will be made clear by Axiom 4 mission. So this is the exclusive mission for microgravity experiments. Now, SpadeX is a space mission recently launched by ISRO by making India the 4th country in the world to perform this. This is a space docking experiment. Docking and undocking are the two concepts in which in the space after launching of a satellite or a spacecraft, the separation or joining of the same can be made. So ISRO recently have performed this. This is no way related to a microgravity experiment. Clear? So the answer is only. Now moving to the next question. Again a question from defense technology. Now again coming to the class notes. When you'll recall the topic defense technology, subtopic defense technology in air warfare, how I used to discuss in a great detail about how the development since 1950s to till date happened in case of development of fighter jets and combat aircrafts. While I used to discuss, I used to refer few that happens to be in news. So there are three aircraft type which is given here, its description, and this also this question have been framed as was much more in news. So how many of the pairs are correctly matched? See, this aircraft, maritime patrol aircraft, this supersonic combat, this one military transport, this is one of made by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, this is of US. So 1 and 3 are correct. So there are 2. Is clear? So now with this, now our discussion of science and technology question of the prelims are complete. So in concluding this discussion, once again I make you very clear that the way I used to say in the regular lectures of science and technology, that the best way to approach about science and technology is understanding the concept in the class as class lectures, and understanding, you can understand by all such discussion, have the thing made very clear to you that there is no alternative of class lectures and class and understanding of the concept. And class lecture I used to dictate the notes followed by the class notes and only work to update the same. So this is the only approach and very useful one to approach such questions of technology. Thank you.